I'm going to use the Dalembert strategy in order to make consistent profits on roulette, but I'm going to do one thing that is a little different from what is typically taught with the strategy. And what that is that I'm going to bet on all of these different traits rather than doing one trait. Now, the reason why, first of all, let me explain. Now, if you don't know what the Dalembert strategy is, by the way, I have another video where I completely demonstrated and explained that strategy, but I will quickly reiterate the basic concept of the strategy again here in this video, which is that you bet a certain amount, a unit. In this case, I'm using the 10-cent coin. And when you lose, you add another coin and then you bet again in order to recover your losses. And when you win a bet, you go backwards, meaning you remove a coin. So you go from 20 cents back down to 10 cents, for instance, right? And you do that repeatedly until you reach a goal that you have set, a certain amount that you want to earn, a certain balance that you want to reach, and then you start again. That is basically the Dalembert strategy. However, for this video, being that I've already explained it in the previous video, I'm going to show you, demonstrate doing Dalembert across all the different traits. So I'm going to start with 1 to 18. I'll bet 10 cents on that first trait. And then, first of all, I forgot to mention my goal. So I started with $38. My goal was $38.10, meaning 1 unit. And you might say, well, what kind of goal is that? But the thing is, I'm going to start the process over and do that again. So it's meant to be a short-term goal, not a long-term goal, because I'm trying to bet continuously and keep making money even all day, right? So now I will move on to even and do the same thing. However, I ended up losing, so now I will have to add a unit and bet 20 cents on this next trait. And I'll bet again. Keep in mind the goal right now is $38.20. Now I just reached the goal. Now at this point, I've reached the goal, so now I have to restart, right? So now my goal is $38.30. I'm just shooting for 1 unit. It's a short-term goal, right? So now I only need to bet 10 cents, right? I start over. Bet 10 cents, and I've won. Now, sometimes you'll end up at a balance that's even higher than your goal. So now I'm at $38.30. Now, you can write it down, because what happens is as you do this, you do get kind of like, you can get kind of a brain fog. Your brain can get tired, especially dealing with decimal points, okay? So numbers with decimal points, if you keep having to remember, you'll be surprised if you keep having to remember numbers with decimal points after a while. It can become difficult to do if you're doing this a lot. So you may want to just have a piece of paper and write down $38.40. The reason is that you will not always hit your goal right away. I've been very lucky in these demonstrations right now, but you won't always be that lucky. So now 10 cents on odd, and here I lost. All right, my goal is still $38.40, but I just lost. Since I lost 10 cents, I now have to add another coin, another 10 cents, and then spin. Now on this particular game, they have a bonus. This gives you a little edge, right? Because if I win this bet, meaning if the number that comes up is 19 to 36, this is black even. So yeah, I win, right? Because I'm in that range, I get a special bonus. And the bonus was enough to send me straight to the goal of $38.40. So I've hit my goal, and now I can raise my goal again by 1 unit to $38.50, right? And so I'll continue from there. Now I reached the end of the board. It just seems like a good place for me to stop. Plus, I just reached a goal. Now, you probably like this game because it has that little extra bonus, and you should, because that gives you an edge, so that when you're, because you can get stuck in the Dalembert. Sometimes you can get stuck in losses. Yes, even when you jump around, you can get stuck in losses. All right, you can get stuck in loss. But I still think it gives you the variety. It seems to me that it gives you a little, it gets you out of some more immediate losses. You could have like a streak of 10 in a row, of 10 black in a row, or 10 red, or 10 even, right? So if you're just betting on one thing, the opposite, like if you're betting on red, you might get 10 blacks in a row. If you get 10 blacks in a row, let's see what happens. You're going to go from 10 cents, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and $1. But keep in mind, you're losing as you're doing that. So you're losing 10 cents, 20, 30. Add up all those numbers together. You'll be surprised how much, it adds up to as you begin to add those up, right? So it looks like, well, it's $1. No, it's 10 plus 20 plus 30 plus 40 plus 50 plus 60 plus 70 plus 80 plus 90 cents. And then $1 at the end of it, right? So add those up and see what it adds up to, right? Okay. In fact, well, yeah, I'll just say that, right? So, that is why I'm using this approach. So that is it. I mean, I don't think I need to really do many more iterations of this for you to understand how it works. If you like this particular game, though, I should mention that I have a link in the description of this video. I should have several links. One of them will be to where you can, now you might already be on the casino that offers this game, but I do have a link that you can click through there to check that casino out. If you're new to a lot of these sites and you haven't joined this site, what will happen is you will get some kind of welcome offer. All of these casinos do that. So it's a great idea to sign up on new casino sites as much as possible. I am on like tons of casino sites, for instance, right? Because what happens is you get, you'll get some kind of welcome bonus or something. So that's a good idea for you to do. And I do also have, I guess I'll just take a quick preview at a spreadsheet. One of the main things I do is make Google Sheets. I do have a Google Sheet where you can even Dalembert individual traits separately. This is a bit more complex to do, and quite frankly, I mean, it's not actually necessary, right? I mean, you can just Dalembert different traits the way I just showed you, right? And not be involved using a Google Sheet and a spreadsheet and all of that. However, the spreadsheet, there's an advantage, for the long term that comes from Dalembert on, separately on separate, these separate traits at the same time. But it's a bit more complex, but it's interesting, and it's something else that I like to do. And I did put together a spreadsheet for that I could explain, but I think I would need a separate video for that. But just to put that out there, that is another option of something you can do. If I make another video on that, I'll link it from this video. In fact, where I'll most likely, if you check the description, I probably will have linked these videos together, or put the links to the 3 videos in the description so that you can visit the individual videos, and they'll probably be inside of one playlist on YouTube on the channel. And if you look around the channel that I expect to post this on, you'll probably see that it's just like tons of videos, over years of various things that were posted there. I also have many other various other channels on various other things, and those might possibly be linked somewhere. So just check the description for links. I think that's all I can really say about this at this moment. The only other thing I might mention is that you can also do this strategy from right to left. So you could go this way as well. And the reason why you might want to do that is because you may find that you begin to lose a lot as you keep repeating the same order. You might find yourself getting into a lot of losses. And so at some point you might just want to switch and start on the right side and go to the left. So start 1936 and then, go to odd, black, red, so on and so forth, and then start over again. All right. And that's about the only other thing I could say. So that's it for this video. I'm Mr. Mark, by the way, and this is just a video on the roulette Dalembert strategy on all the different traits instead of just doing it on one trait. I hope it helps you if you're trying to do some betting and in a more continuous fashion. And by the way, I mean, you can increase these and do the same exact strategy with the larger coins. Just remember, you have to add and remove the same coin as you win and lose, as you lose and win. However, always keep in mind the amount, right? The risk is raised every time you do that. You are increasing the risk of loss. The smaller your bankroll is and the larger the bet size is, the more you are increasing the risk, but the more money you can actually make as well at the same time. All right. So just always bear in mind, the relationship between the larger bets, your bankroll, which is the amount of money you actually have to work with. And, so yeah, always use bonuses when possible, where possible, to help give you an advantage. A game like this that even offers extra bonuses on individual spins. Those occasional bonuses can help you as well. And that's it. I think that's all I have to say for this video, and I'll see you in another one.